welcome to Poppa Paints. I'm Poppa. My real name is Larry Whitler. But I wanted to invite you to stick around if it's your first time. And I'm going to show you how I painted this landscape. This is a landscape painting I did this morning. And normally when I do my videos of my paintings, I speak during the video. And I did that this morning also, but it didn't come out. So for whatever reason, I'm going to go back over it and narrate it as best as I can. So if you get a chance, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the like button. I would love to hear a comment or two, negative as well as positive. Be kind if it's negative. I'm using acrylic paint on this one, and I'm also it's a stretched canvas that I bought at the store-bought canvas. It's 11 inches this way and 14 inches this way, so it's 11 by 14. And I think that's all I need to say. So let me show you now how I did this painting, and I will narrate it right now. Let me start it up here. Here we go. So here we have the blank canvas. That's pretty obvious. And there's my palette. Now, what I will tell you about the palette that I use is I use I use store-bought paints. Obviously, I don't make my own paint, and you can tell I have a variety of colors on there. Now, I know that the traditional thing to do is to use primary colors, blue, yellow, and red, and then white, and then maybe raw umber or burnt sienna or something like that. I like to use the color called Payne's Gray. I like to use Payne's Gray a lot. Payne's Gray seems to work a lot, not with every way, but but a lot. However, sometimes when you go to the store and you buy acrylic paint or oil paint or any paint really, gouache, there's so many colors to choose from, which is just part of modern day living. The old classic masters of art, they didn't have that luxury. They probably would consider us cheating by by their standards. They would consider it cheating. They would make their own paint. And however, we do have colors to choose from. So I think, like, if I'm going to use red and yellow to make orange, I can also buy a tube of orange, or blue and red to make purple. I can also buy a tube of purple. So that's kind of how I feel about it. I don't really worry about it too much. I just enjoy the painting process. And as you'll see on this painting, well, you already saw the intro. There's a landscape unfolding before you. So you might be saying to yourself, why are you painting white on white? Well, there's two reasons. First of all, a lot of times I will paint in underpainting. I tend to lean toward the oranges and the brownish oranges as an underpainting, but not always. Sometimes I'll use gray or blue-gray. And what I try to do is the complementary color of what the painting is mostly. In this case, the painting is a lot of blue. As you can see, I'm adding blue now. And I'll talk about that in a second. But the underpainting usually is a complementary. So in this case, if I had used a complementary, what I mean by complementary, for those who don't know, I simply mean the opposite. Like, if you look at the color wheel, you'll see that orange is the opposite of blue, and red is the opposite of green, and yellow is the opposite of purple, etc., etc. So if you have a color that's too brilliant, too vibrant, too bright, too saturated, you can mix a little bit of the complementary or the opposite color, and it'll desaturate the color, make it a lot more natural, I think. In this case, you can see I'm using a pretty brilliant cyan, which is blue, basically. And that's why I put the white down first, so that when I added the blue, I could blend it together while it's still wet and have a nice looking blue sky. I just wanted some traditional blue sky. I thought that would be nice. So getting back to why I put white down first, I didn't have to. I could have mixed it on the palette, but I thought if I put down white first, then I can gauge how much blue I need in order to get the light blue that I want, because I certainly didn't want the sky to look as saturated with blue as straight out of the tube would have been. So, and the reason I'm doing it at the top and the bottom of the canvas here is because there's going to be water in this picture, and I want the water to be reflecting the color of the sky. So, if you're new, thank you for tuning in. I want to tell you that I paint every day, with some exception. I get up early. My significant other is named Robin. She's not here right now, but usually when I'm speaking early in the morning, she's like one room over and she's sleeping. I usually do these videos that early, but today we had to run to the doctor, and nothing big, just a checkup, and so I don't know what I did wrong, but the audio didn't record, so here I am recording the audio again. But I do paint every day. It's a routine. I will go out on a limb here and say that it might be therapeutic for me. It might be my. It's like the perfect pairing with coffee. Like, I have my cup of coffee, and I have my painting, and it's just so relaxing and so enjoyable. And here's the other thing: there are so many things to do in the course of a day, like go to the doctor, or do the laundry, or put down fertilizer in the garden, or clean something, or fix something. There's so many things to do, and I feel like if I put off the painting, then I'll never get it done. So I like doing the paintings, and I'll explain how what I'm using the paintings for in just a bit. But anyway, I do it every day, and it is kind of therapeutic, I'll say. I do not, by the way, I know many of you who've watched for a while, you know that I do not consider myself a teacher. I am a certified art life coach, if that helps. But I took that course mostly because a lot of you, the viewers here, were telling me that you're getting some calm, you're getting some peace, you're getting some serenity just by watching the painting and the process of painting. So that's why I keep them real time, and sometimes I'll do a time lapse, but most of the time I keep them real. But anyway, I wanted to better understand that whole idea of art therapy. I do not say I'm an art therapist, by the way, but what I learned in the course that I took, it took 1 month to do this course, only 1 hour a day. It was not that big of a deal, but in the course that I took to be an art life coach, I learned that maybe I learned something that I knew intuitively without putting it into words, and that is that there is a certain peace that comes along with being creative, and you probably already know that. But the art life coach lesson, or the course I took, showed me that sometimes you can direct a person and communicate with them and listen to them, and maybe you can figure out why they're going through some of the emotional things they're going through. But again, I'm not a therapist. Nope. You don't want me to be your therapist. But the coaching lesson did help me better understand what a lot of you have been telling me. Maybe that's the reason I did it. I think I did it so I better understand you, many of you anyway, than it is for me to have something extra to offer, if that makes sense. So if you're watching right now and you're painting along with me, that's outstanding. You don't have to paint what I'm painting. Half of the time when I'm painting something, I don't even know what I'm painting. Have you ever watched a video by Nathan Fowkes. Oh my gosh. Nathan is such a great artist, and I truly think he's like a master at making stuff up on the spot, coming up with these beautiful landscapes just out of his imagination. And that's what I like to do. I'm not as good at it as Nathan is, but so in this case I wanted to do I wanted to do like a church reflecting in the water, but it ended up looking like a castle. So don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that's supposed to be a church, because I changed my mind about it. After I saw what I did, I thought, well, that's not a church. That's a castle of some sort. So you'll see. You'll see when we get to that part. And that's part of the fun too, isn't it? To let the painting maybe make the decision. So anyway, I do paint every day, and the art in general, like your art might not be painting. It might be cooking. It might be dancing or songwriting or singing. I don't know. There's just so many ways to be creative. Maybe you have digital skills and you use that to be creative. It's just. I think it's a God-given drive to be creative. Even the people who design automobiles and invent things, they're all being creative. And I think that's just the nature of us human beings. It's a God-given thing. And so your art may not be painting, but mine is. Mine is music also. I love music. I love making music. And, obviously I wasn't able to have a career in it. My career was in broadcasting. I worked 36 years as a radio broadcaster. Robin and I'm pointing over there. She's not over there right now. Robin and I did a show. Well, we did a couple of shows. The last show we did was 17 years long. And we did a couple of shows before that. And we did a children's show called Robin and the Giant. And I was the giant. It was mostly an audio show, but we did do some live shows also. All right, I don't want to go on a tangent there. Sometimes, okay, just if you can't tell, I'm not young. I'm an old man. I'm 70. And there's something about painting, for me anyway, that connects me to my earlier days in life. I do find that my thoughts drift to an earlier time in my life. It's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, sometimes it's a comfortable place, and sometimes I get uneasy with my own memories because I thought, oh gosh, I was so stupid. How could I have been so stupid? How could I have been so ignorant? How could I have been so self-centered in some cases? I know. I really hope, I always think this, I don't know if you're going to think I'm crazy or not, but I always think that if there is such a thing as reincarnation, I really hope God allows me to enter the next life with whatever wisdom I've gained in this life. Maybe not knowledge, maybe not language and math and all that stuff, but at least the wisdom to know what is stupid to do and what is wise to do and what is loving to do. So that's a big tangent. That's too big of a topic for an art channel, isn't it? All right, let's talk about the paint a little bit. Acrylic, I use acrylic paint. Well, I'm not going to hold it up because I'm a tiny square in the bottom of your screen. But I use acrylic paint. I do try to get the acrylic paint that's considered professional grade, but I don't always, and sometimes I mix the two, and it seems to work out okay for me. Some of you have way more knowledge about that part of this than me, but I do like. I went through when I first started the channel. I was doing watercolor, and I was painting in greeting cards. Then I moved on to from watercolor I went on to gouache, and with gouache I loved gouache because I could paint over it. It was it has the ability to be opaque, so you can paint over it. And it also, another thing I like about gouache is that you can photograph it without getting that reflective surface. Now acrylic, which is what I'm using here, does have that reflective surface, and it does make it a little more difficult to photograph. But that's the thing. I've used oils a lot, and in fact I've used pastels, soft pastels, you know, the chalky ones. And I've done a lot of work with that. I did a lot of portraits when I was younger, capturing the likeness of another person, especially people who want it as a gift for somebody else. You know, you really have to be really good at it, and you really have to do it slow, methodic. And to me, that was work. To me, that was stressful. And landscapes are just so much more liberating. Is that a good word? Liberating. But anyway, I right now I'm kind of stuck on acrylics. I'll probably use them for a while. I did an oil painting of Jesus for the church last year, and it went to the auction, and it raised $1,000 for the church, which was pretty cool. So let me tell you a little bit about some of the techniques I use. I think I mostly consider myself an impressionist. In other words, I'm not trying to paint it to look like a photograph. I'm just painting the impression of everything. Like this church you see me painting right there turns out to look more like a castle. so it's an impression. Yeah, it didn't work out too good. But hey, in the end, it looked pretty good, I think. It just doesn't look like a church. And what I've also enjoyed lately is impasto. IMPASTO. It's an Italian word, and I think it means paste. And I think it's used in the context of art to mean thick, or just put a lot of paint on the canvas and have it thick so that when it dries you could run your finger over and actually feel it. So I do that. I like that a lot lately. And a year from now I might be looking back on it and saying, wow, I did a lot of impasto. Now I'm doing whatever I might be doing in a year. So yeah, I don't go after photorealism. Some artists do this really well. I'll drop another name here. Andrew Tischler. Look him up. He lives in New Zealand, and he is one of the best photorealist landscape artists that I've ever seen. We have a lady here in our community. Her name is Margaret Watts. I think they call her Becky also, but Mrs. Watts. I know her as Mrs. Watts. She was the wife of the editor for the local newspaper, and I used to see her art in his office. I worked there for a little while, but she has done some amazing paintings, and I got to meet her for the first time like last year, and it was kind of like meeting, a superstar in my mind. It was like meeting John Lennon or somebody else that I admire in the music world. Let's see, primary colors, I kind of talked about that, and toning down colors with complementary colors. I think you know that. Alla prima, do you know that expression, alla prima? That means finishing a painting in one sitting. I seem to be that seems to be what I do. Now the painting I did of Jesus last year, no, that might have been 10 days or more, a little bit at a time. But in general, these smaller 11 by 14 painting, 11 inch by 14 inch paintings are alla prima, done in one day. So if you want to know, I don't know if alla prima is Italian or Latin, but that's what it means, finishing it in one day. Alla prima impasto. Listen to me, I'm talking in like several languages at once. Impressionism. This painting right here, as I mentioned before, I kind of just winged it and tried to come up with the name, and The Quiet Bend came to mind. I think there's a song that talks about the quiet bend. I'm not really sure. But I like the idea of the river being still, like the surface is reflective and there's not too many ripples and waves and stuff. The tree that I'm going to paint, you'll see it's in there in a minute, It's not there yet, but I chose the golden tones, the orange tones. I don't know. Hey, it's the 3rd of July right now, so autumn is just a couple of months away, right? We're not here today. Today it's hot here. So the inspiration for this, let me see if I have something I can tell you about that. It is imagined, but at the same time, I saw a church when I was camping with my son, and it was across a lake. It wasn't as close as the one, nor as big as the one that I tried to paint here. But again, this one ends up looking like a castle. So it was probably based on that. I don't know. I was just trying to think. One of the things that people ask when they know that I did radio was, do I use my radio experience, my radio history, when I'm doing these videos? To be honest with you, I don't. I tend to speak very quietly on here, and most of the reason for that is because Robin is usually asleep in the next room. That's the truth. But on radio, can I give you a sample of what it might have sounded like? I would have put the headphones on. There's the headphones. And I would have said stuff like, "It's going to be raining today." I can't even imitate my old self. But it would be a more pronounced delivery, on the radio. 40% chance of rain. Hey, look for it to rain today. It's going to be a nice day. Blah 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 blah. All right, there you go. That's about as much as I want to do with that. Since I started Poppa Paints, by the way, this channel that you're watching right here, since I started this, I have had a whole new world open up to me that I didn't even know was out there. And it is you guys and gals. You all are unbelievably talented. When I first started it, I did not have the YouTube group called, not YouTube, I mean Facebook. I did not have the Facebook group, which I created, called Poppa Paints. The reason I created it is because so many of you were writing to me on YouTube about your own art, and I didn't know how to share it. Now, I think YouTube does have a way of doing that. I don't know. But somebody had suggested to me to create a Facebook group, and so that's what I did. If you're new to this channel and you want to share your art, please feel free to post as much of your art as you want. Nothing is bad. Everything is good. I don't have... I am amazed at the artwork that you all post. I am indebted to you all for watching this channel and these videos, and I can't thank you enough. I truly, truly, truly am grateful for you being there, and I really want you to know how thankful I am to have a viewership. It's like 30,000 subscribers or something. I don't think I have 30,000 viewers on a regular basis, but there's 30-something thousand. Isn't that something? So yeah, if you have some art, please share it. I'd love to see it. I don't get over there very often to the Facebook group, but I do go over there and look, and I see everything that's on there. So, all right. So the paintings, I told you earlier that I wanted to tell you what I'm doing with them. So I have been painting a lot. Last year I painted over 200 greeting cards, and I donated all of them to the church that I go to with Robin. It's a Lutheran church here in Ocala, Florida, and my decision to donate to them has nothing to do with the denomination. It's just, what it was Robin always went to this church with her mother, and when we retired from radio, because I worked on Sundays, by the way, so when we retired from radio, I didn't have someplace to go on Sundays, so I started going to church with Robin. I really like it. They have what they call a relaxed service. You're not sitting in pews, you're sitting at a table. The pastor is a singer and a guitar player, and he's got a band, and they are unbelievably good. And I love music, so it was just a perfect fit for me. And then I started learning about the different things that they do, the outreaches to help the community, to help the people who are having a hard time, help people who are in nursing homes and in prisons, and oh my gosh, they have so many outreach programs. So I wondered if there was a way I could help them. So I decided to donate my paintings to them, and I donated 200 greeting cards that I hand painted last year, and also the portrait of Jesus, which was pretty large. I can't remember how big, but so between the painting of Jesus, which raised $1,000, and the 200 cards, each raised $5 each. So there was another $1,000. So $2,000 went to the church and to the youth group that it was earmarked for. This year I'm doing paintings on larger canvases. So I have these 11 by 14s that you see me painting here. I have some 16 by 20s. I think I have 2 of them so far, but I've got probably 30 of these little 11 by 14s, and today's only July 3rd. So I'm just going to keep doing it until November, and then when they have their art auction, I'm going to give all of them to the church, and they can then sell them. Normally, now for those of you who want to know what I would charge for a painting, it would be $3 a square inch. So let me do the math real quick. Let me get my little calculator on my phone. There it is. So if you had 11 by 14, that equals 154 times 3. So it would be $462 for this painting. I just do not believe that in the church auction it's ever going to raise that much money. But it might raise $20 or $25. And that way, people get the paintings and the money goes to the church and it goes to a good cause, and the kids get to do some of the things they do. And I don't know, it's my way of giving back, I guess. The other thing I noticed is that last year when I donated the artwork, other artists from the church started saying, can I, not to me, they were asking the lady who runs it, can I put my art in the art auction also? None of the artists get anything from it. It's all, you just give it away and they'll let the church get the money. But a lot of people came forward, people who the pastor told me he didn't even know they were artists. So there's a community kind of under the radar, and art brings people together. It really does. So. My favorite moment from last year's auction was probably when I found out that the Jesus picture made $1,000. It was like, whoa, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. And the person who paid for it didn't identify himself or herself, and in fact donated the painting back to the church. So now it hangs inside the church. I've been painting all my life, but at 70 years old, I'm probably painting more than I have in my life. I'm doing it every day now, so it's just a lot of people tell me that my art is nostalgic, and I guess that's because I'm old, so that's just the way it is. I've told you about some of my favorite artists are Andrew Tischler, and I've told you about Nathan Fowkes. I need to tell you about Monet. I love Monet. I know some of you may not like Monet, and I like Norman Rockwell. I know a lot of you don't like him. I like James Gurney. I think James Gurney is a genius. James Gurney was friends with Thomas Kinkade. I love his work. I know he's passed away, and I know a lot of you don't like Thomas Kinkade. I don't know why. What's wrong with you? But of course, I like some of the masters also. I'm just amazed by some of the work. But in modern day, I like. Oh gosh, who else do I watch? I don't know. There's a lot of them on YouTube that are really good. Which, by the way, going back to one of the first things I told you is that I don't consider myself a teacher, but there are some really, really skillful artists who are also teachers in watercolor, in pastel. Oh my gosh, go to a channel called There's one, Karen McGillis, I think is her name, and she's so good, so beautifully talented. And there's the Monet Cafe, I think. I don't know if that's the same lady or not, but there's a couple of pastel ladies that I watch. Gosh, there's this. I'm leaving names out. I know that I love to watch paint. So, and there was a guy I used to watch locally. He was a pastel artist. His name was oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Oh gosh, but anyway, he painted at a local art store. He painted with pastels. Oh, I'm almost remembering his name, but I used to stand and watch him draw, and I really think a lot of what I learned was from watching him, from watching other artists on YouTube, and other artists at art shows. Sometimes they'll be sitting and they'll be drawing or painting, and yeah. Okay, well, I think I'm probably almost done with this video. I wanted to, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for the kind comments that you leave. If you have a critique that's maybe critical, maybe constructive, what do you call it? So, constructive suggestions, whatever, that seems maybe not complimentary, that's okay too, but I really don't like them. I really prefer when you say nice things. Anyway, look at this photo, this video right here. At this point, the light that I'm using is reflecting off of the paint, the acrylic paint on the left side of the painting where the tree is. So it really doesn't look like that. And you'll see after I switch over to the photograph I took of it, you'll see how it actually looks. Anyway, thank you. Please subscribe if you can. Please like this video if you like it. Please don't not like it. Leave me a message or two, and I'll either get back to you or simply acknowledge that I've seen it. And did I tell you I'm in Florida? I'm in Florida, and it's July 3rd, and tomorrow's the 4th of July. If you're in the United States, happy 4th of July. If you're in the rest of the world, have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I love hearing from you. I'll put some information in the description part of this video, underneath the video, that'll tell you how to buy the art. I'm not selling the originals. I'm giving them away, but I do sell prints of the artwork, and that's through my Pixels account, which is also called Fine Art America. But if you just put my name, LarryWhitler.com, it'll take you to it. That's LarryWhitler.com. Simple as that. Okay. And did I leave anything out that else I could use? I didn't talk about brushes at all. I am not an expert on brushes. You know what I do with the brushes? I just take the ones that look like they're going to work. I try them. If they're not working, I'll get another brush. I got so many brushes I've accumulated over the years, just probably hundreds of brushes. So looks like the painting's almost done. Looks like the video's almost done, and I think that means I'll wrap it up now. And I didn't even take one sip of my tea, so here we go. Again, 100% gratitude for you. Please stay safe. I'll talk to you tomorrow.